Good morning. Good afternoon. Alright guys, 2 weeks ago I talked about change coming. Change has arrived. A lot of you got a lot of the hints I was dropping, but nobody got what was changing. I'll be doing a lot more US runs. Nothing changed there. Something looked a little bit different there. A little bit different. What's going on there? Oh, I only got a single trailer. It is so weird. It is so weird. It feels wrong. It actually needs more room to turn a tight corner than the Super Bs, because the Super Bs had axles in the center, a pivoting point, and it turned around a corner nicer than these do. So this is the very first load. I hope I'm legal. The forklift driver says I'll be legal. I'm gonna have to hit the scale and find out. So this means I'll be running more in the US because these trailers make a lot more sense in the US than in Canada. There. Let's get you guys mounted on the dashboard here. All right. Cell phone. Doors. A drink of lemonade. Spot. It's a spot. Let's roll out. Have a great weekend. Bit of a fugly load he's got to park there. But it looks like he's doing a really good job, so kudos to him. I believe he's one of our newer drivers. Or maybe our newest driver. So I mathed the heck out of this trailer already. And I weighed myself empty and looked at all the rules, all the laws, and I think I'll be able to haul 2,000 pounds less with this trailer than with the two trailers together when hauling in the US. In Canada? No, in Canada the Super Bs are going to haul a heck of a lot more than this, but for a US load it's only going to haul 2,000 pounds less than my Super B. Just the way the laws are written, and the fact that this is an aluminum trailer. Steel frame, but aluminum trailer. Aluminum deck. So, I did the math. I talked to other drivers that run these trucks and trailers. Just random drive around the road. If I saw them, I got on the radio and talked to them. Some of them talked back and gave me lots of answers. So I figured out that I could go to 62.5 psi on the truck. And we're at 61 psi. So we're close to the max on the truck. So if you guys have advice running a quad axle trailer with a tag axle, being the fourth axle on the trailer, and only two axles on the, well, three axles on the big rig itself, so the drives to 32,000 pounds instead of 34. We're legally allowed 34,000, but you only want to load 32 because that rear axle is in the air. When you lower that rear axle, it's going to shift about 2,000 pounds from the trailer to the truck. So right now, my trailer is not legal in the US. Once I drop that rear axle, it becomes legal in the US. But it is illegal to run with a drop axle or a tag axle like that in Canada. Well, I don't know if it's illegal, but it doesn't count. They won't give you any extra weight, so you always run with the axles up in Canada because they don't count for anything at the scales. Just the way the laws are written. So when I dropped that rear tag axle and put a bunch of weight on that, it should transfer weight to the drives, and then I should be legal for the US. Right now, I'm legal for Canada, but not US. Say it gets pretty cool, fun job running these trailers once you get used to it, once you know your math. Anyone that wants to know, my bridge is 21 feet. A lot of these US states you have to worry about bridge laws. What is the bridge? That'd be easier to show you when I was outside the truck. But the bridge is the center of the front drive tire to the rear, center of the rear tire on the trailer. That is 51 feet. Did I say 21 or 51 feet foot bridge? And if you have a pusher axle on the truck, that bridge gets extended by 4 feet or so. I guess I don't know how much further forward a pusher axle is than your front drive tire. And the bigger your bridge, the more weight you can haul in the US. So you want that space to be as big as possible. So I moved my fifth wheel as far back as I could to get the 21 or 51 feet without taking too much weight off the steers. And I'm pretty close to legal on the steers. I'm at 11,800 on the steers pounds. Car, what are you doing, car? Halfway past me, decides to bail out because the passing lane's coming, or the passing lane's ending. Could have easily just finished the pass. Okay. So yeah, it's different. Because I've never done it before, it's a little complicated. Did a bunch of math, like I said. I showed Jess the picture of the math. She just goes, oh boy. She just goes, you know, I have equations for that. I'm like, throw your equations away. I suck at math because of equations. I can see these numbers in my head. Leave me alone. I'll figure it out and be legal every time. I can't use equations. Don't make sense. I just see the numbers in my head. Math is different for me. I did very, very poor in math in high school. Teachers always accused me of cheating because I couldn't use their equations, but I always had the right answer. It's like, but I'm using the equations in my head. I see the right answer. You leave me alone, let me figure it out, I'll get the right answer. Throw your equations out, they don't make sense. I don't know, it's a thing that I've got. I don't know. I always tell Jess, at least I'm not normal. Here's Klesnikov, our left-hand outside. We'll be loading at KIW, where I just pulled out of with this load more often now that I have this trailer. Because the reason Sutco bought three of these trailers is because KIW now does laminated timber. I'm not sure what they're going to call it, proper term, but it's basically lumber glued together for structural buildings, and the laws have changed on that, so now they can do a lot more of that. So a lot of the customers that are buying that, a lot of those states in the US, like Texas and Iowa, and it's illegal to run two trailers. And yet we have to get all these laminated beams to those states. So right now we've been contracting all those loads out to other companies, and so now we've bought three of these trailers. We'll do some experimenting and practicing with this and learn the laws. Like I said, if you guys know laws, what states I should be careful in, and what, you know, Washington and Idaho, I think I've got figured out. I've got the bridge laws and stuff like that. There's some questions about what highways we're allowed on, but I know we can't go in California. California is just out of the window. That's one state we're not going to. California only allows 2 axle groupings, so you only allow 2 axles. You can't have the 3 axles. So a lot of the guys with these quad axle trailers like this in the US have a lift axle, which adds more weight to the trailer. And my boss just goes, you know what, for the amount of extra weight, the loads, we'll contract out the California loads and we'll do the rest of the US. There's lots of other states we can go to. Makes perfect sense. Yesterday as well, and an interesting morning today. So yesterday delivered those 2 runs to Eastport, and then I ran empty all the way to just south of Castlegar here and picked up a load here yesterday evening. Check out my Instagram or Facebook for a picture of this. I had a supervisor, as I pulled into the yard, this bear comes barreling up that tree. I came really close to that tree, so I must have scared him, and he just barreled up that tree, a black bear, fairly big black bear. It's pretty agile for how much weight that bear is, and how he could just balance on that branch on the top like a bird. Took a little snooze up there. He kept supervising me the whole time we were loading. I helped load, because they only had one other helper, and we were loading big blocks, and you really need an operator, a person on the trailer, and a person on the ground. So I helped load there, and the bear watched us the whole time. When I had the last strap tightened down, he scurried back down the tree, and away he went. I'm like, huh, I must have done a good job, because he approved and left. And then today morning, pulled into the construction site in Preston, and they unloaded me with a forklift that was undersized for what kind of blocks we were doing, and he thought they were going to just lift them off with a forklift, put the forks under the blocks. It's like, no, you need a chain and hook on top. So they grabbed the chain. Chain was rated for about 2,000 pounds less than the blocks we were picking up. And I'm like, well, I'm on the deck helping, but I'm chaining up and then getting far away. If that chain breaks, I do not want to be anywhere near that load. But it got unloaded without any disasters. It took 2 hours to unload it, but we got her done. And then ran empty back to Salmo and grabbed these trailers. Got all my straps and corners, and stake pockets, and chains and boomers. Oh no, I forgot bungees. I forgot my bungees on the trailer. Shoot. I have a few bungees in the pail. So that'll, okay, so, okay. Oops. Oh no. Okay, I can make this work. So you can actually run very few bungees on the tarp if you throw your straps over top of the tarp. Yeah, I'll make it work. Your straps on top of the tarps, they hold the tarps down. You don't need as many bungees, so I'll have enough bungees to strap the front and back together, and the sides will all be held in with the straps. Yeah, it'll work. It'll work. Interesting that how differently this trailer rides. Around these slow sweeping corners, I don't have to worry about the tighter, or the fact that I'm going to need more lanes. I always said for the Super B I needed 3.5 lanes. I think I'm going to need a full 4 lanes. Or if it's going to be a 90-degree corner, I'm going to need a full 4 lanes to make the corner, because of the length of the trailer. That's what I'm predicting I'll need. So if the road I'm turning onto is a 2-lane road, I will need to go into, like here example, I have to go in the center lane and then take the 2 lanes of the road I'm turning onto. So 2 lanes on this road and 2 lanes on the other road. If the other road would be just a single lane, just a narrow alley, I would need a full 3 lanes. I'd have to go out of my lane here. So I got a shoulder here. That's a half lane. So I'd have to go to this lane, the second lane over there, and I'd have to use the other shoulder. So to bring this trailer into an alley that's the width of the trailer, I would have to go all the way onto the other shoulder and then turn into that alley. Of course, if the other road is a lot wider or the corner is curved, you'll need less lanes. But yeah, I predict I'll need 4 lanes. If I find a good spot to try that out, I will calculate it, and then I know for sure, but I'm thinking 4 lanes too. 4 lanes will do the trick. Maybe 3.5 will do it if I go right to the corner or right to the edge of those 3.5 lanes. Normally I would turn off here, but I'm going to head to the scale and weigh myself. Do some math. And then I'll drop that axle and do some math on that too, so that I know what PSI to drop it to. Looks like there's a bit of a lineup. I'm doing, I don't know if inspections or construction on the bridge. Oh, now that I'm only hauling a single trailer, I only need one set of chains, right? I still want more of that though. I'm gonna have to look at US laws. I'm still driving, watching my mirrors around corners. You're steering your trailers, not the truck. All right, let's write these numbers down. Dynamite the trailers. Dynamite the trailers. So 5,240. Dynamite the trailers and have no brakes on the axle that you're weighing, you get a much more accurate number. 14,370. Now I'm going to dynamite just the truck, well, both dynamite. Okay, the trailers have no brakes on them. 22,470. I don't know if that's legal. I'm going to pull over and find out, and I'll catch up with you guys after I've done some more tests on the actual drop axle. I took a bunch of different readings with a drop axle or tag axle down at different pressures, and for sure it'd be legal on this load. I'm gonna punch all these numbers into my spreadsheet on the computer and I'll get average so I know what my maxes will be. So just off this one load I'll be able to figure out very, very close to what my max load will be. And then as I take more readings, I like to have like 10 readings that are close to max. Traffic doesn't stop, I'm just gonna have to hammer down between some of them.
Continue on Highway 3.
Oh, I know why there's so much traffic. Because that direction of traffic was open over the bridge. No point in passing me. We're in no rush. We're just going to come to a stop. Unless all that traffic, maybe we'll be on the tail end of this and get through. We'll see. But why'd you pass me? You're just turning off? Okay. Okay. Let's go home. Let's see how this load pulls up the mountain. I know I did enough math to know I'm legal in Canada and the US, but I don't know how light I am or how heavy I am compared to the max load I can get. So I'll do that at home. I've written all the numbers down. Good job of zipper merging here. Always wave to the traffic controllers. The other thing you never do, or also do, is you never speed up from the construction speed zone until you've passed the other flagger. I know legally you shouldn't speed up until you can see the resume speed sign, but people start speeding up over here. Because it's like, oh, I'm past the construction. Yeah, but you're not past the flagger yet. Maintain that speed until you're past the flagger. Or at the very least, when you're getting close to the flagger, slow down again. And go nice and slow past the flagger. Flaggers die every year because people are impatient. Flagging is a dangerous job. They don't get paid enough for the job they do. Now I will accelerate. I don't know if there is a sign that says resume speed, but after the flagger, I usually speed up. Unless you see this line of traffic, especially in the summer, you'll see this line of traffic. People will get out of their vehicles. In that case, you stay at the slow speed until you're past that line. First time hauling up a mountain with a single trailer loaded for the US. I noticed I was pretty close to my legal maximum for a Canadian load too, so interesting with this, the way the drop axle works, you can get fairly close to Canadian maximums. Not all the way, but you can get Canadian load versus a US load is not going to be as big of a difference on this trailer than with the Super B. Man, I've got so much power with a single trailer, I'm half tempted to pass this RV. See what the traffic does behind us. And we'll see what the RV does as I get steeper here.
Continue on Highway 3.
I'm full throttle now. sense of how big my vehicle is. And yeah, it's a bit shorter than the Super B combination. But like I said, it doesn't turn tighter. This hill this fast with a load on. That the three of us running these trailers will probably get a ticket in the US somewhere where we did a bunch of research but we didn't get the right answer and we did something illegal. I hope not, but seeing that our dispatch doesn't know, it's a thing our company hasn't done, running quad axles down into the US. Like, we have quad axle chip trucks, but they just go to Washington or Idaho. They don't do the all over the US thing, so. Weekend and do at least some research on some states. Maybe I'll try to focus on bridge laws. I enjoy the rain. Much better than smoke. The very top of Kootenai Pass, some of the stuff that was hitting the windshield was no longer rain. It was just this very wet slush. I'm like, it's getting close to snow. It's getting very close to snow. I'm guessing if it keeps raining, it might snow on Kootenai Pass overnight. Ooh, that car had a bad day. downside, like I said, is Jess can't come with me, but she hasn't been coming with me anyway. I've been getting so many US runs. It's not really going to change anything, so the sooner they open that border, the better for me and Jess. I understand why they don't open the border. I personally would like the border to be open for me, and I'm okay if nobody else can cross the border. As long as me and my wife can cross the border, I'm okay with that law. See how selfish I am? No, I'm okay with keeping the borders closed. Like I said, personally, I want the borders open, but I understand why they're closed. Have a very different water flow off of the tires. They've got this little skirt along the tires, and it seems to push the water spray a little bit lower. Makes it a bit of a interesting spray pattern coming off the trailer. I think I would spray less of this water to the vehicles beside me, and that's why the skirt's there. It makes it legal for Oregon. But I definitely noticed a difference. I know my Super Bs were legal for Oregon too, but the skirt was completely different. I did notice that skirt though. It's made out of aluminum. Right where I'm strapping down the winches. And I already pinched my finger twice. It's like, okay, I've got to learn to put my fingers on the bar, cinch everything up at a different spot, or else I will crush my finger. He has high beams on. Unfortunately, I didn't have my headlights on. Well, I've got the running lights on, but not my headlights, so couldn't flash them. I tried. So, okay, I'll run with my headlights on then. Kind of looking forward to bringing all these numbers. Another full page of numbers written down. Just trying different things, different pressures. Punch them into the computer. I've got this really nice spreadsheet formatted for the Super Bs, so I'll be able to do the same, use the same sheet, but instead of having the pop, I'll use that column for my drop axle. So I'll be able to use the same sheet and tweak it a little bit, make a good cheat sheet on what weights I can run, or what PSIs I can run. So the truck has a PSI gauge, the trailer has a PSI gauge, and the drop axle has a PSI gauge. And now I have to figure out how many pounds those PSIs translate to. Monday morning. If I can get the load delivered by Monday afternoon, I'll leave earlier in the morning. If I can't, if it doesn't make a difference, if I leave at 4 a.m. or 7 a.m., if I can't make the delivery, I'll leave at 7. some water on the floor mat. And no, I don't have shoes on. Never drive with shoes on. If it's in the big rig or my personal vehicle, I never drive with shoes on. Not quite true. If I'm doing short range stuff in town, I'll ride with my shoes on, but anytime I'll be driving more than half an hour, shoes are off. It's more comfortable, your feet can breathe. If I ride with the shoes on, I find I get a lot of heat blisters. Man, this is a nice fast climb up the Paulson. Replacing. If those trailers are going to sit in the shop for a few days, they might as well replace 2 tires on the trailers. I would have kept driving probably another 2 weeks or so with them, but if they're sitting there anyway, they're down to 3/32, so might as well replace them for the next driver. Add some hangers for chains on the trailer. Asked for that last week. No, 2 weeks ago. Last day before I went on vacation. So 2 weeks ago, I told them, it's like, hey, we need chain hangers on these trailers. So they added chain hangers. That'll be super handy. After I moved everything over to the toolboxes, I realized there's no drainage holes in the toolboxes. So I drove up to the shop and go, hey, I need someone to drill holes in my trailer. They're like, what? Toolboxes need holes in them. Oh, okay. Grabbed their cordless drill and we drilled 2 holes in each toolbox. That way the water has a way to draining out. Also, right now, driving in the rain, it also means all this rain is, some of it is getting up into the toolboxes. but having the holes is the lesser of the two evils, because every time you throw wet straps into that toolbox, a little more water sits in there, a little more water, a little more water. Like the Super Bees I was running last winter, those toolboxes didn't have holes either. So I found out in winter with the water gathering up in the trailers, froze solid, I had to grab a hammer and just bang away at these straps just to get them out of the toolbox, let alone unroll them and strap down a load. So that was fun. I got them to drill holes after that. Because in the winter we're always driving in and out of freezing and thawing, back and forth. So everything thaws out. It's like when it thaws out, let it drain out. Not running a Super B. I can't say I'm a 30-wheeler anymore. '24-wheeler. At least I'm not an 18-wheeler. My spot is flashing red. Spot is a GPS tracker I use, so it's my personal GPS tracker. I know the company has a GPS tracker built into the truck, but I would like one, personal one, right beside me. If I'm in an emergency, it'll strapped in right beside me. I can hit the SOS button, get help sent my way. But it's flashing red, so I'll have to replace the batteries. Lights on. do I need to move over from my Super B to these trailers? And I go, what about my tarps? The tarps are designed for 30-foot decks and not 53-foot decks. Yeah, we're gonna have to get special tarps so you can leave your tarps. So I left my tarps. Left our home office, drove down to Salmo, drove west to the fuel station, fueled up, started leaving. I'm like, okay, had to get loaded. Get a phone call. You grabbed tarps, right? I'm like, no, you said they're gonna be your special ones ordered and to leave them on the trailers. He goes, well, his boss just told him that my load that I'm picking up in Washington, it has to be a tarp load, so go back and get your tarp. I'm like, okay. I'm like, hey, wait, I'm on a single trailer. I can pull into any little road, side road, and turn around. I'm like, that's an advantage. Turned around, went back to the office, picked up my tarps. They're the wrong size tarps, but they'll work. It'll be a little awkward. Until we get the right size tarp, it'll be awkward, but it's okay. It's raining quite a bit harder up here. Go 4-way flashers on for the last part of the climb here. Once we get to the brake check, I'll call it a day. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm kind of excited. A little nervous too, but excited. Down to 40 kilometers an hour in the steepest section here. But nothing like 25 kilometers an hour like I always did with the Super B. Well, with the US load, to be fair, it was more like 32, 33. But I'm going up 10 kilometers quicker. Foggy up here too. So my cough hasn't come back this week. It stayed away. We haven't changed anything. Except for one thing. Weather has changed. I'm no longer running the AC in the truck. Well, you know, every now and then, the hottest time of day, the AC comes on for a little bit, but you guys recommended turning the AC on really gradually, slowly cooling it off in here, and I think that's a good idea. See if I can remember to do that next summer. Plus 6 degrees out here. It might freeze overnight. Oh, imagine all this rain and then freezing overnight, black ice. People aren't expecting winter. They never do. It's like everybody forgets how to drive. notice the tire max system on this trailer, on my trailers. Super B had those tire max system on it that all the tires on the trailer stayed inflated to the exact same PSI. This trailer does not have it on it. So I'm going to have to go back to actually checking the pressure of my tires on a weekly basis. I know. It's terrible. It's terrible. Anyone not running with their lights on and this stuff is crazy. All those cars going up the hill. I hope they turned their lights on as they came up here. Load secure like that. Pull further into the pull-out. Being a load secure here, there's a brake check coming up. Pull further out into the pull-out. That's a big pull-out. That close to the road? Why? Why? Oh yeah, one other thing I noticed, I can't back up. I was struggling backing up this trailer when I did the turnaround. It's like my instinct turned the steering wheel the wrong direction. It's like, shoot, I don't know how to back up a single trailer anymore. That'll come back pretty quick. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of runs I get. We'll be getting a lot more runs down further south. I don't know when that'll start, but eventually we'll have runs going way further south into the US. I know I'll be getting mostly US loads now, but what percentage of them will be interstate driving? I hope I don't get stuck into running just interstates all the time. Not a fan of that. A mix of interstate and this, yeah, I'm a huge fan of that. I have a lot more thoughts, but I think I'll leave it there. And I'll see you guys on Monday, running in Washington. So thank you for watching. Leave me a bunch of comments. Like I said, if you have any advice running a quad trailer, just a 3-axle rig, let me know.